Lando Norris now. Like, what is going on?
Oh no! Again!
This is making me sweat. Grazie ragazzi, siete i migliori. Where are the mechanics? They're not here.
Hello and welcome to Not the GP supporting UNICEF, the series that puts real-life drivers, content creators and various celebrities from around the globe against each other on the F1 2019 game by Codemasters. Last time out, it was Charles Leclerc who took the glory in a head-to-head style tournament. This time, however, we are going back to basics. We are going to have all of our 20 drivers against each other out on track in two 25% distance races, with the second one being a reverse grid race. And if not the bar GP was anything to go by, it will certainly provide us with entertainment. Unfortunately, today's event is only possible because of the postponement of real-life sport due to the ongoing coronavirus situation. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those who have been affected and to the brilliant healthcare workers and public services who were working so incredibly well during these tough times. We, however, want to fight back, and that is why we are supporting UNICEF to help raise funds to minimise the impact coronavirus has on families and children around the world. Any donation, no matter how big or small, can go a long way to helping these families during these difficult times. You can donate throughout the whole show in a manner of different ways. If you're watching on YouTube, head over to the description down below. Twitch, go to the panel section down below. Or if you just want to type !donate in your chat, you will be provided with a link on where exactly you can donate. We understand that these are difficult times for everyone. So if you are unable to donate, then you can still play your part in the fight against coronavirus. You can stay safe, stay at home. Thank you. Joining me on the show tonight is a man who is very familiar with the F1 2019 game. He has over 350,000 YouTube subscribers and is quite an experienced driver when it comes to battling against Formula One drivers, whether that be their computerized versions or the real-life versions in the game. It is, of course, the content creator Arav Amin, also known as Arava. Arav, welcome to the show.
Cheers, Aidan. Thanks for having me on, and I'm very much looking forward to some high-octane racing entertainment tonight, hopefully.
So, Arava, cast your mind back 7 weeks ago. How has this been for you, where you were battling against these guys, their computerized versions in various situations like career mode and stuff like that, to now, where you've been battling against them pretty much every week on the game in their real life persons? How incredible has that been?
It's just been absurd. It's really that entire situation of, like you said, racing against their AI counterparts, pretending as if they're real during commentary for videos, and then actually going wheel to wheel with, for example, Leclerc in my 1v1 with him was just, out of this world, mind-boggling, something you don't really ever think about as a Formula One fan that's ever going to happen. And so this is the closest thing you can get to battling a real-life Formula One driver, I think, for us mere mortals. So, just absurd in a word.
It has been incredible. And just to think about the battles that you've had, I mean, not the bar GP, you had a battle with Nicholas Latifi in the reverse grid race that went on for a good 3 or 4 laps, maybe even longer. And then, of course, you had the head-to-head in the Versus series last time around against Charles Leclerc, where he did actually call you a pretty quick driver. That's gotta be good coming from a Formula One driver.
Yeah, I'll be taking that to my grave for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think he was just being a little bit, light on me, being a bit pitiful. Yeah, but I'll take it. And yeah, the battle with Latifi in the reverse grid version of the Bahrain GP was. Yeah, insane to be able to hold him off and so I held my own against a Formula One driver is just something that I'll just be carrying on in terms of into the future for a memory.
Well, you're going to be joining us today as our pundit and also in the commentary team alongside our commentator. But of course, today's event is not just about the racing. It is, of course, trying to raise as much money for UNICEF as possible. We did have some incentives going into the last one. A few things have already been given away, like pop sockets, for example. We've given away hoodies and also jerseys. We also raised £4,000, which meant I had to dye my hair blue. Hence why I've got this. This isn't a fashion choice. This was because we raised £4,000, and last time we raised over £6,000, which in the space of 2 weeks now has gone up to nearly £8,000. And we are very close to our next incentive, which is going to be a play seat, an F1 play seat rig, which we will be giving away at £8,000. When we get to £10,000, 2 VIP F1 paddock passes for a European Grand Prix. And if we get to the big 20,000, then we will be picking from one of the donators. They will get a spot on the next Not the GP race, which is incredible. Like for a fan at home to be able just to get that one spot on the grid, how incredible would that be from someone who has already driven against these people?
Yeah, that's get ready for the nerves to set in. It really is a very nerve-wracking affair, but yeah, I mean, it's a once in a lifetime sort of thing almost if you're not a part of this entire world, to just be able to come in here and get on the grid. But yeah, I tell you, the nerves are going to be going through the roof, because they certainly were for me. Even for the third time lining up against Leclerc after having done it with Norris or Latifi, it was still just so nerve-wracking.
It's got to be incredible, though, because it's not just we've not just got Formula One drivers on the grid. We've got content creators from around the globe. We've also got celebrities. So to bring such a weird mix of people together, it's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real weird eclectic mix of people. You've got the Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois. As a football fan, it's massive to be able to race against such a well-renowned goalkeeper. And then you've got massive influences in their own right. We've got Noel Miller on the grid today. Absolutely hilarious guy. WillNE as well. To be able to race those guys and just also see them interact in this entire situation, just very, very odd. Obviously, a situation that wouldn't come about if it wasn't for the situation, but we're making the best of it, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We've got a tweet come in. This one is from @Eganator. If you want to send your tweets in, send them in at #NotTheGP, and I will butcher the pronunciation of your names. This is a nice intro, Veloce, and the nice blue hair, Hayden. Thank you very much. I'm glad some people are enjoying it. We will speak to you later. Oh, okay. I was going to say we'll speak to you later, because I need to go and introduce the person who's going to be alongside you in the commentary box. We have got once again the brilliant commentary voice of Ginger, Andy. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, and I'm ready for the action here, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be.
Let's just talk about the format that we are going to have today. So we've got an 18-minute qualifying race, followed by a 25% race. Then we've got another 25% reverse grid race, which will be from the results from the first race. And we saw that at Not the Bar GP. What are you most looking forward to in those races?
Well, I'm looking forward in particular to that reverse race at the end, because, the Hockenheim ring presents great overtaking opportunities, as we'll touch on again in a moment. But, I'm looking forward to seeing who's got the pace in qualifying. We've got a lot of different names as well in the grid, as we'll touch on later. So I'm interested to see if there's any dark horses in there. So, yeah, I think it's a really good grid and a really exciting format again. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We've also got the same sort of rules and regulations as we have had before. Damage will be on reduce, so there will be a little bit of damage here and there, but the drivers can get away with a few bumps and grazes. Track limits have been reduced. They were on strict, I believe, for last time versus. We've reduced them just to give a little bit of leniency with especially the newcomers to the game. And also, all assists have been allowed, and ERS has been set to automatic. But where are we racing today, Andy?
Well, we're racing at the Hockenheim ring in Germany in this latest layout, 2002, when it was brought in by Hermann Tilke. 17 turns and great racing all the time around here, especially into that hairpin, as you can see there. 2.8 miles into the hairpin of turn 6. Probably the best place for overtaking. You've got the stadium section at the end, very tight, very twisty part of the track, tricky to get it spot on. We can also get plenty of action down into turn 2 as well. So yeah, a great racetrack. Looking forward to plenty of overtaking. And also coming out of that hairpin, running down into turn 8 at the Mercedes-Benz grandstand section. A great chance for some overtaking there. So yeah, especially looking forward to that reverse grid later. But I'm also excited to see how they line up on the grid for that first race and see who has got the pace.
Well, this track really does provide some entertaining racing. Of course, if we look back to the 2019 real life season, one of the best races of the season at Germany. Wet weather did provide the entertainment, but it always throws up something different here, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely does. And as I said, there's just so much action all the time, especially down into turn 6. So yeah, who knows? The weather might spring a surprise here again. You never know. It's certainly a track where you can get some rain. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it sounds like we are nearly ready to get going. So I'm going to hand over to you and Arav in the commentary box.
Okay then, qualifying just getting underway then with 15 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And Arav, looking forward to this one. Who's your money on going into this qualifying session first?
I mean, I think it's got to be the victor of Versus series last time out, Charles Leclerc. Absolutely, he's taken to the F1 game so quickly. No surprise, as a race-winning F1 driver. I would say his teammate Tim Marduk, he'll be wanting to do really well to, obviously do well alongside him in that car. But then obviously you've got the other F1 drivers, Nicolas Latifi, Thibaut Courtois is also pretty handy in an F1 car as well. And I think there's some new names that we maybe just don't know, so might have a dark horse in there.
Yeah, well, let's start off then by going through that grid, and let's start with Nicolas Latifi, the man we're on board at the moment. Last time out, a couple of weeks ago in the Not the GP Versus tournament, he did lose out in that final to Charles Leclerc, Nicolas Latifi, but he put on a stunning show of driving, of overtaking, gave us all some great action and kept us on the end of our seats. And yeah, he'll be looking to go one better and topple Charles Leclerc today. So he's in that Williams seat. He's amassed 25,000 Twitch followers already during this lockdown period. Incredible scenes. But he's got TRL Limitless alongside him, who I think has been itching to get involved in this. And I'm pleased for him because he's a very quick driver as well, Arav, isn't he?
Yes, very competitive driver. I think he really studies the F1 game like it's a manual book, essentially. So I think we're going to see him be very punchy indeed during the race. And in qualifying, if he gets it all together, I think he'll be very high up there on the grids.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, TRL Limitless did finish 7th in the Oz GP a long time ago now, 6-7 weeks ago, but he'll be looking to go even better than that. We'll see how he gets on. But yeah, we touched on those Ferrari drivers, Tim Marduk and Charles Leclerc, but Charles Leclerc got to be the strong favourite there. Let's have a little look elsewhere then. Let's have a look at the Racing Point drivers, the Peach Smiths. We've got Jay and Peter in there, and they've competed before, haven't they? With Jay competing in the Not the GP Versus knockout tournament against Stoffel van Dorn, but unfortunately he was knocked out early on. He'll be looking to go one better, the German content creator. He and Peter as well, he'll be looking to do well. He also competed in the Not the Bahrain race, finishing 14th in race 1 and 16th in race 2. So they'll be looking to try and push up towards the points paying positions today, won't
they? Flying the German flag, hopefully doing a little bit better for themselves. I think they got quite unlucky in the Bahrain one, if I remember correctly. I was in that race and it was quite a frantic start. So I think luck is going to play a lot of into it at the very start, not getting caught up to incidents. So yeah, for them, just hoping to do better and just improve, basically.
Yeah, well, we have touched on the Ferrari team with one Formula 1 driver, one content creator, same with Williams, and now two content creators at Racing Point. We've got the same going on at McLaren, a very strong lineup. WillNE with 3.7 million YouTube subscribers. He's competed in 3 Veloce events so far, and he's got Noel Miller alongside him, who himself has got 1.9 million YouTube subscribers. But there's an interesting story about Noel Miller, isn't there, Arav, about him playing on Warzone with a steering wheel?
Yes, I mean, to be honest, I think it's maybe the only reason we have him in the series today, because it was quite astounding. He played Call of Duty Warzone with a steering wheel and actually won a gulag fight with the steering wheel. So let's see. I don't know, Andy. I don't think those skills might translate exactly across to the F1 2019 game, but we're hoping nonetheless for an entertaining one from both McLaren boys. Those two big boys will definitely bounce off each other in terms of personalities, I would say.
And WillNE as well, you've raced in a few events with him. How do you think he's going to fare?
Well, he's a massive Formula 1 nerd, so I think he's trying to put in the laps before this event started. Hopefully, he's got some decent practice in and just wants to put on a good show, I think. And, his pace is actually pretty consistent. I did some practice with him previously, and he's actually very decent at just putting in those similar lap times, just about maybe cutting out any mistakes, really. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, there is Chris Lake going out there in the Renault. He's teamed up with Ian Poulter for this one. Chris Lake competed in the first Not the GP Versus event, falling at the first hurdle against Archie Hamilton. He'll be looking to do better. Interesting stat, he performed at last year's Indy 500 in their snake pit alongside Alesso. So here we're looking to go and put in a good performance. Music producer himself, of course, Chris Lake. I wonder what he has got up his sleeve this weekend. Can he try and push up towards the points, as I'm sure many of the drivers without that racing background will be looking to do. Alongside him, though, Ian Poulter, the postman, known for those delivering great performances in the Ryder Cup year after year after year. What can he deliver, though, this time round? Arif, can he deliver a good result here for Renault?
I think he'll be looking to improve. He's been involved in a lot of the virtual races that F1 have held on F1 2019. And recently, actually, speaking to him, he's actually changed his wheel settings up. He used to run 540, which is basically like a bus when you talk about steering on the F1 game. Now he's kind of got it better to the 360 most people run. So I think he'll be looking to do a much better job. It might be surprising some of those other returning drivers that have seen his driving before. I think he'll be a bit more consistent potentially and a little bit more on the pace maybe with the pack.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if he can do that. So a little bit of inside info there from Arif. Thanks for that. Let's see if he can push on towards the front of the field. So let's have a little look then at the Toro Rosso team then, as coming into the pits as one of their drivers now. And it's going to be interesting to see how Malcapone can get on this weekend as he comes into the pits. He is a Mexican YouTuber with many subscribers. He's got 700,000 Twitch followers, Mexican content creator. So he'll be looking to go very well as he is now in the pits as we look elsewhere. So let's see what he can do. He's alongside Şembolik Bassi, the Turkish driver. And it's an interesting backstory to him as well. He's been represented in the Toro Rosso and the F1 2019 Esports Pro Series. He knows all about this game, knows how to go quickly. But not only that, Arif, he's raced around here in real life as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, astounding. That's a really, really unique fact about one of these guys to actually have driven around this circuit for real as well as the virtual circuit. Maybe some inside tips. I don't know how realistic really is to the real life, but he's got, basically probably Hockenheim on his backhand, basically in terms of the knowledge around it. And he did very well, of course, at the not the Bahrain GP in that reverse grid action. So I think he'll be a hot favourite actually for the top positions today.
Yeah, and if it rains as well, he could be contending near the front because I think in that race that he competed in, or those two races that he competed in here in Germany, were in all kinds of conditions. It was a real challenging event for him when he made that appearance. So let's hope he goes pretty well as we pick up Jean-Éric Vergne, the boss, the man from Veloce, two-time Formula E world champion and former Formula One driver himself. I wonder what he's up to this week. He was beaten last time out by George Russell in the Not the GP event, but to be fair to him, I don't think he played much of the F1 game, but let's see if he's up to speed now. He's currently 7th quickest on a 1:11.5 and pounding in the laps, Arif. What can we expect from him? Yeah,
pretty decent actually, Jev. P7 right now, and you were correct. He was basically chucked into the deep end for that first showing. So I think since then he's put in the laps, put in the timing clearly right for now. With 8 minutes to go, seems pretty decent actually. So I think he'll be looking to maybe challenge the kind of midfield battle. Maybe have a battle with Thibaut Courtois, the man who's just below him in P8.
Yeah, well, we'll speak more about Courtois in a moment, but alongside Jean-Éric Vergne and the Red Bull team, we've got Veloce, the French YouTuber with over 2.5 million YouTube subscribers, an incredible number of subscribers. Let's do that then. Let's jump across to the Alfa Romeo team with Thibaut Courtois. I mean, this is incredible, isn't it? You would never have imagined this 7 or 8 weeks ago. The Real Madrid goalkeeper competing in the Formula One racing on the game. It's fantastic to see.
Insane. He's such a Formula One nerd actually as well. He just really loves the sport and he loves just racing on the F1 game actually. So it's great to have him on board with Alfa Romeo, especially here alongside Giovinazzi, who obviously he's made this is his first appearance and not the GP series, but he's done a few little virtual races here and there. But it'll be really interesting to see how he fares up against everyone else as a kind of newcomer to the Veloce world here.
Yeah, well, here we are on board with Thibaut Courtois, making his way around the hairpin, where we will see the majority of the overtaking, I would think, during the race. 11th on his debut in the Not the GP in Australia. Followed that up with a couple of 13th places in Bahrain in race 1 and 2 of the Not the Bahrain GP. So he'll be looking to try and push up into the points. Didn't fare too well in both Veloce versus races. I mean, he's been competing in every single race, hasn't Courtois? He's been right up for it, which is great to see. So let's see if he can now push into those points positions as I think he's been aiming to do over the last few weeks, and at the minute going really well in qualifying in P8, so things going really well for Thibaut. And as you say, Arif, we'll see what Antonio Giovinazzi can do. And, you've met up with Antonio Giovinazzi before, haven't you? So you'll be looking to see how he gets on.
Yeah, he actually really enjoys the Formula 1 game. I think we can get him off it, actually, because I had to do an interview with Kimi Räikkönen, and we had to actually force him off the F1 game to start that interview. So he's actually really into his gaming. So I think very much almost like Charles, I think he'll take to the game quite quickly, maybe, and hopefully see him right up there. That'd be a great battle to watch.
Well, two more teams to have a look at. Let's have a look at Haas. Pietro Fittipaldi, the Haas F1 and Test reserve driver, competed most recently in the MotoGP Versus event, losing to Latifi in the round of 16. Adam, I don't know if you tune in on that one, but that was an absolutely incredible battle between he and Latifi. Probably my favourite moment of the MotoGP
firecracker
Versus. Yeah, great battle between them. So, we weren't too sure about Pietro. We weren't sure of what his pace was going to be like, but he showed us in that race that he had some great pace, and already showing us in qualifying here with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go that he's got great pace on a 1:10.8. We've got Felix von der Leyden as well in the Haas, and he competed in the Bahrain GP, finishing 12th and 18th. So another driver looking to push into the points paying positions on this occasion. One team to look at, and that is Mercedes, the final team. Archie Hamilton, he competed in the first GP Versus event, and he made it through to the quarterfinals before being beaten by Tiamat Marek, who made it all the way to the final, of course. So interesting to see what Archie can do this weekend, but at the minute he's currently slowest on a 1:17.4 out of.
Yeah, he wants to improve from that. He's got about 2 seconds to find, really, with 5 minutes to go in qualifying. So he needs to pull up the socks. As you can see, the track action's getting heavier and heavier as everyone's going out for those last few laps. And very much like real-life Formula 1, we're getting held up with some traffic, potentially, with some drivers there. And, alongside him, Depiello, the French commentator for the F1 Esports series. I was mentioning this earlier. I think, having maybe commentated on F1 Esports, maybe you could have picked up some little tips and tricks here and there. Maybe, just keenly judging, I guess, the F1 Esports guys, and maybe picking up some tips from there. The likes of Chen Bukbasi, obviously going well around Hockenheim. So we'll see how he goes against Hamilton.
Yeah, well, interesting to see that. That is the entire grid then, and they're all out there in qualifying. As you can see, we're now only got 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this session, and it's getting to the business end of qualifying. And at the minute, it is Nicholas Latifi, the man who was runner-up last week, who is quickest of all by around 1/10 of a second over Chen Bukbasi in second. Pietro Fittipaldi sits in P3. Let's pick up the Williams driver then of Nicholas Latifi as he makes his way round the final part of the lap. Let's see if he's on a quick one or he's making his way into the pit lane. He is coming into the pit. So that'll be a fresh set of boots, I would think, and going for one final run at it.
Yeah, it's crunch time for sure with just over 3.5 minutes to go. But this is shaping up really nicely. Like you said, Latifi lost out to Leclerc and, got knocked out in the Versus series. So this will be a really nice battle to see those two. And then you've got the likes of, like I said, Chen right up there, P2, Pietro as well. And we said Tyrrell Emlis James in P5 as well. It's all very, very close actually between them. Literally, what's that? 1/10 covering P3 to P5. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really tight there. And as Archie Hamilton's improved into the 1:15s now, he remains last of all at the moment, though, as we pick up Felix von der Leyden, who is currently in 12th quickest on a 1:12.295. Quite tight in that midfield group. Several drivers in the 1:12s, from Felix in a 1:12.12 down to Jake on a 1:12.6. So, plenty of time for movement in that area of the field as we look at Thibaut Courtois now, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, currently 9th quickest, heading down into that hairpin. Is he on a quick lap? Let's see what he can do, see if he can improve. Just a few more tenths he needs to find to leap ahead of Jean-Éric Vergne and get back into the top 8 as he makes his way through turn 7 and braking hard down into that Mercedes grandstand section. And Arif, if you don't make a move into turn 6 at the hairpin, there's always a chance you can carry on and battle down into that Mercedes grandstand, can't you? Yeah,
you can carry on the momentum there, try and make a move down the inside or the outside, really. There is enough room to just about make it work. You have to give the other drivers some respect. And then into the stadium section here, difficult to really make a move here, but we've seen plenty of mistakes in real life and virtual at this part of the circuit, so this could catch some drivers out. But Thibaut navigating it all right enough through the last corner, a little bit of understeer kicking in, but then across the line, what will this be? He's down to P9, across the line to go up to P8 to outpip Jev there in the Red Bull car. So decent effort from Thibaut, actually. Only 1/10 off Tiamat Marek, obviously very avid player of the F1 game, so I think Thibaut would be very happy with that time, actually.
Yeah, I think he'll be absolutely delighted. Jumps himself ahead of Jean-Éric Vergne into the top 8, so great job there from the Real Madrid goalkeeper as we have a look at Jean-Éric Vergne on an outlap at the minute, currently on a 1 minute 11.5, as De Pelio pops into 8th place, displaces Thibaut Courtois, who drops down to 9th. The top 5 all on outlaps at the minute. Tiamat Marduk in the pits. He'll need to get out, and he is now out, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen there. He's now on a track as we keep an eye on Jean-Éric Vergne on his outlap. 1.5 minutes to go. We are right in the business end of the session. It will be the final runs you're about to witness in a few moments' time. It's Latifi still on top from Shembolic Bassi and Pietro Fittipaldi. Charles Leclerc, interestingly, not at the top of the timesheets, Arif. We've seen that so often in the last few weeks, haven't we?
Yeah, so often. He's really taken to the game. No shock there, but and with that, I think, you don't count him out yet. So there could be a last-minute lap of wonder as we ride on board with the man into turn 1. Andy, take us through this.
Well, here he goes, absolutely flying through there on the limit as one of the Saubers comes out of the pits, or the Alphas, Romeos, I should say. Charles Leclerc braking now into turn 2 and now getting on that throttle as quick as he can. Let's see how he gets on then on this lap. Now opens up the DRS and now through what they call the Parabolica. Not quite the same as the one that they have at Monza. It's not quite as challenging.
Not the same effect.
Absolutely not. So Leclerc into the braking zone for turn 6. As I said already, without doubt the best spot for overtaking, the heaviest braking point on the racetrack. Accelerating out of there and now down towards turn 7. It's easy flat in a Formula 1 car as Charles Leclerc goes chasing that time from Nicholas Latifi. 3 attempts to find as he turns past the Mercedes grandstand section and into the tight, twisty part of the racetrack where it becomes almost single file. In damp conditions, if it does rain at any point this weekend, it can be tricky. We've seen in 2018 in real life, Sebastian Vettel head off the track at this corner here, and in 2019, several cars off at the final corner. So it can be tricky, no doubt about it. As Charles Leclerc then makes his way around the final couple of corners. It's his final run in qualifying. He's a little bit wide as he enters that last corner. He needs to beat a 1 minute 10.5. What does he do? It's only enough for the front row. A 1:10.597, but it is incredibly close, Arif, isn't it?
That is astounding. Real close stuff there with him and Latifi. But Latifi looks like he might just have it. He's on a hot lap as well himself, I think, here. So he might improve himself. Late time for Tyrrell Limitless there in second place. Then Shembolic Bassi, so it's all kicking off here. And Leclerc now finds himself down to P4 as Latifi makes a mistake, crucially, to that fast right hand of the stadium section. That's his lap over, but he might just be safe. Or could there be a last-minute surprise?
I think Fittipaldi was one of the first ones to go, so I don't think we've seen an improvement from him. We'll have to see later on. But the top 4 covered by, half a tenth almost? That is incredible. Incredibly tight.
You could chuck a towel over them. That's how close that is. That is unreal. Now we ride on board with Pietro here. Is he on a fast one? I think he's going to get held up a little bit here. Very awkward. Yellow flags with Archie Hamilton. I think he may abandon this lap, so he will sit in P5 pretty. Jev in P7. Check flags fallen there. Tiamat Marduk done all right in P8. I think he'll be maybe a little bit annoyed that he won't be right up there with Charles, his teammate. But obviously the race is to come and anything could happen in those opening laps.
It absolutely can. There's so many great overtaking opportunities, but I am really, really, really excited going into this Grand Prix. Look at that, 4 cars covered by less than a tenth. So it's great to see. Let us know, folks, in the comment section, who are you tipping for that victory in race number 1? It's really looking pretty exciting. For you, Arif, who was the star of the show there in qualifying? Who surprised you the most?
Surprised me? Well, maybe not surprised, but turned up like I thought they would was Chem. And also, you got to say, Tyrrell Limitless, James, done a great job there, flying the flag for the esports guys and doing a great job mixing it and being sandwiched in between 2 great Formula 1 drivers. So, very good showing.
Yeah, very good showing there as well. And Thibaut Courtois, he was in the fringes of the top 10. He's fighting for a potential chance to get into the points today, isn't he?
Yeah, he's putting down the goalkeeper gloves. It hasn't worked out too bad for him yet. It's, decent. I mean, so far, he's always aimed for that kind of mid-tier, the bottom of the top 10. Had a lot of bad luck in recent events and hasn't quite got there. So maybe this time with the one where he can really get in there for some solid points today.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Really exciting. Well, what will the weather be like as well in the race? That's another factor we've got to consider.
A major factor here. Hockenheim, we've got dynamic weather on, so there very much can be any all sorts in this race and the reverse race as well. I imagine if the reverse grid has got some rain in, that would be very spicy indeed. But if there is rain to come, turn 1 is going to be so difficult. We saw on board with Sebastian Vettel, remember, at the real life 2019 German Grand Prix, how blind that was with the rain. And then you got the hairpin, which is difficult enough on the game to slow it down. And, the understeer kicks in anyway. anyway in the dry, let alone the wet. So that's going to be also another really exciting prospect, perhaps, if there is some rain. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe we've just jinxed it now by talking about it. We'll see.
Yeah, but and another thing, of course, I think Latifi, he'll be desperate to put one over on Charles Leclerc. He'll be desperate to topple him because last week it was so close between them at Silverstone. You know, it was a shame that we saw Latifi spin coming out of Chapel when it could have been all the way to the line like it did with Lando and Ben the week before. So, you know, I'm excited to see how they go battling together side by side. Could you pick a winner?
Ooh, the winner. You know what? I think he's been so consistent in every other virtual race he's done. I've just got to go for Charles because he's just been there every single time. But like you said, Nicholas is going to be vying for that victory to pull one over against his kind of, I guess, rival in this kind of esports realm. Okay, well, it's interesting to see. Let's see how it pans out. Let's take stock then. That's it. Qualifying over. It's time for an important message from our drivers as we, together with UNICEF, continue the fight against coronavirus.
Globally, there have been more than 3 million COVID-19 cases, and tragically, over 200,000 of those have resulted in death.
It is essential that we slow the spread of the coronavirus to save lives and to reduce the strain on global healthcare systems.
There are now more than 1.5 billion children out of school or education in more than 160 countries.
UNICEF is working to ensure these children are able to access education whilst remaining safe and healthy during this global pandemic.
Please donate now. Your donation will go directly towards UNICEF's work to support healthcare workers and families that are affected by COVID-19.
It costs just $40 to fully protect a healthcare worker responding to the coronavirus outbreak.
Tune in this Saturday at 8 PM BST to watch the races live. Donations will be tracked throughout the whole stream with plenty of incentives, so please give generously. Thank you.
Yeah, well, hopefully if you guys can, it'd be great if you could donate. We've got some great incentives. Of course, we've got, of course, an opportunity to win a Please Seat rig at $8,000, which I think we've actually achieved already, £8,200, and an opportunity to go perhaps to a European race as well if we can hit 10,000, and even, as we mentioned earlier on, the chance to race amongst this field if we can hit the £20,000 target. It looks like we've lost Jean-Éric Vergne from the session. We'll have to wait and see if we can rejoin. It popped up at the bottom of the screen there. But at the end of the formation lap, the cars lining up on the grid, and we're going to have quite the fight for victory. Nicholas Latifi starts this race from pole position. He's got Shembolic Bassi alongside. As we mentioned, he's raced round here in real life as well as in the virtual world. TRL Limitless lining up in third. He's determined to put a strong showing in as well. Who can get the victory? The top four so closely matched. We can't discount Pietro Fittipaldi either. He is going to be a real contender as well. As the 5 red lights are about to come on, we've got the cars on the grid. Here they come then. They're not the GP here in Germany is about to be underway. Now, lights out, away we go. Or do we? We've been held for an awful long time, but we are eventually away with Nicholas Latifi leading from pole position. Shembolic Bassi sliding off the line, and down the inside goes Charles Leclerc and takes the place immediately. Slightly cutting that first corner, it has to be said, but he's already right onto the tail of Nicholas Latifi, and immediately they're restarting the battle they had a couple of weeks ago. We've got a couple of spins in the background. One of the Williamses is round. That was TRL Limitless, and Charles Leclerc has already swept through and into the lead of the German Grand Prix. Side by side they will go down into the hairpin of turn 6. Latifi not giving it up. Latifi the Canadian on the inside, Leclerc going round the outside, but Latifi has it covered and retains the lead, having lost it earlier on in the lap, and he holds on for now. Latifi leading from Leclerc in second and Bollock Bassi third, Arif.
This is absolutely insane stuff there. Charles straight away on it round the outside, and he does it. What a move in front of the Mercedes grandstand there. And wow, what action. Straight away, the two F1 drivers, no surprise at the sharp end there. But Shembolic Bassi close behind in third, and also Courtois, look at him, the Real Madrid goalkeeper in the Alfa Romeo car in fourth place. Not too far behind there as Latifi goes wide, feeling the pressure maybe from Bollock Bassi now in the Toro Rosso in the stadium section.
Well, absolutely incredible. What a move from Charles Leclerc. Gets that move done on Latifi round the outside into the Mercedes grandstand section. Superb stuff. He leads the German Grand Prix on lap number 1 as they start the second lap now from Latifi second and Bollock Bassi third. And as you said, what a start from the Real Madrid goalkeeper up into fourth place already. But we did have a couple of spinners further down the field. TRL Limitless dropping down into 9th place early on. We've got Ian Poulter as high as 7th as we keep an eye on this battle. Shembolic Bassi, we go on board as he's in the slipstream behind Nicholas Latifi. Is he going to find a route down the inside? We said this is the place to see some overtaking, and it's not letting us down. Straight away, Bollockbassy down the inside, textbook stuff out of, and he's up into second place.
I think he's going to be very hungry in that cockpit now. He sees P1, he sees the big dog, Charles Leclerc right there, and he's got to go defensive though, because Latifi might come back at him, so the job's not quite done yet, but he's going to very much, I'm sure, have all eyes on P1 if he can try and get rid of the Williams car in third place now.
Yeah, it appears we lost Antonio Giovinazzi as well at the start of that Grand Prix. He rejoins as Shane Bollockbassy now up into second place. But the big key is Charles Leclerc 1.8 seconds clear already, lightningly quick. And we know out of how powerful the DRS and the slipstream is in this game, as we see Thierry Limitless fighting back immediately, moving through on Labussi. So he goes up into 7th place and Labussi down into 8th. So good work there from TM Mark on his recovery through the field. Next up, fellow content creator in the Formula 1 game, TM Mark.
Yeah, I think these two need to try and work together, I think, because there's a bit of a gap from Ben in P6 to P5 there, the Mercedes, as we've got yellow flags behind, and there was an incident turn 1, and Pete Smith with a DNF there, and I think Felix also got caught up in the Haas, I think that was, so he's down the order as well. So that's really unfortunate for them as we now ride on board Labussi in the Red Bull car, getting back in the slipstream. It's so powerful down this main straight here at Germany. And so they go wheel to wheel. The Williams defensive, Tyrrell Limitless on the inside there. He's going to have to try and get the elbows out and squeeze them out to maintain the position just about. So doing the opposite of what I said of using Ben as a bit of a toe and aid. He has to go defensive again. So the Red Bull giving it a good show for us today as well with that defensive work.
Yeah, good racing there between those two. So Thierry Limitless holding on to that 7th that he gained earlier on in the lap. Labussi down into 8th. Pietro Fittipaldi, he was another one that was involved, I believe, in the slides and spins at turn 2 on the opening lap. That's why he's running down in 9th place. We've lost Ian Poulter. It might have been him that had the spin because he's now down into 14th position. Yeah, so Ian Poulter sticks it in the bunker at the first corner and he drops down to 14th position. But at the moment, still Charles Leclerc leading. And what we got here, we've got Thierry Limitless now onto the back of Tiamat Marek. He is absolutely flying at the moment and determined to come charging back through the field. Through the first corner they will go and down towards turn number 2. A little bit wide there, Tiamat Marek. Thierry Limitless just keeping it within the track limits as they now head down into turn 2 and 3. And this is a real opportunity for Thierry Limitless to get
this is exactly where he wants to be, behind Ben on this main straight. You want to have the DRS here, and Ben is going to be a sitting duck here. What can Tim Modic do in the Ferrari? Will he go defensive to the inside? He does hold the line, but JD is the one who really forces the move on the outside there, and Ben putting up a very lackluster fight. I guess, like I said, maybe he's listened to me, and he's going to use him, because these two can work together. They can DRS train off each other and try and catch up to Thibaut potentially, as Ben, you can see there, could have made a move, doesn't. So I suspect that's what they're going to try and do, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but it was certainly an interesting line there from Limitless to go to the outside rather than the inside to make that move. It was quite a bit of a surprise, and well, that was almost a surprise as well as Latifi almost runs into the back of Bollockbassy down at in the middle part of the lap there in the hairpin, but it was just an early pit stop. Yes, and a really early pit stop then from Nicholas Latifi, trying the undercut to try and get ahead of Shane Bollockbassy and Charles Leclerc. So soft tyres on the car at the moment. Surely he will go into a set of mediums, or will it be hards? We'll wait and see as he comes in for an early stop. The question will be, though, where will he feed back out into the traffic? If he comes into traffic, it could be curtains if he wants to try and win this race. On go a set of the mediums. Let's see if he's found a gap. You know what? I think he might have. No, not quite.
I think, has he timed this correctly? I think, you know what, he might be okay here. Yes, there's not too many cars around him. Actually, you know what, I think he's timed that perfectly, I think he's not going to meet anyone in Sector 3 for a while now, and that's really the main issue. Is now we see Jay Pete Smith going very wide and taking the full track to take turn 1 there. But Latifi now has to get his head down. He's got clean air. He's got to make the most of it. And now will that trigger? Will that force Charles Leclerc and Shane Bollockbassy into a pit stop? As now we see Ben going side by side with Thierry Limitless there. And again, does not make a move in front of the Mercedes grandstand here on that left-hander. So, I don't know, Ben maybe just playing the patient game here after quite a hectic start, I guess, for him in the first few turns.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It was a very, very hectic start, no doubt about that. But they're just, as you say, playing the patient game, perhaps trying to tow along and catch up with the guys further up the road. No signs of any overtake to try and come straight back yet.
Leclerc's in and Bollockbassy into the pits there. You can see on the left, also Thibaut Courtois comes in. We've got yellow flags for some reason there. Also, Thierry Limitless dives in, but Ben opts to stay out. Of course, Charles was in, so he had to kind of accept the fact that he had to stay out there. And obviously, if a Formula 1 driver is your teammates coming into the pits, you're not going to say no to him, are you? So...
Yeah, absolutely not. So into the pits then comes Tyrrell Limitless onto the jacks and a set of soft competitors, and that's a brand new front wing going on there as well. So he was involved in the incident at the start. We didn't realise it was to that extent where he's got front wing damage as Veloce rejoins the racetrack. Where is Latifi in all this? He's come out in fourth, so he's still behind Leclerc and Bollock-Bassi and still 1.7 back. So that's the key there. No positions gained then from Latifi despite doing a lap less on those tyres. So he rejoins still behind Bollock-Bassi and Charles Leclerc. But that's really a sore one for Tyrrell Limitless. It's actually quite impressive to see that he did so well for so long with that damaged wing as he now makes that move on DePeto and is up into 8th place. So Limitless continuing that fight back. He's going to have to do it all again with a brand new wing now, Arif.
Yeah, it's going to be just, it's redo everything he basically did. All the work he did was undone with that. I want to give a little shout out to the McLaren boys in P12 and P13 there, Noel Miller and WillNE, doing a pretty decent job, I'd say. You know, obviously both of them, the F1 game is not their domain. Noel's pretty nifty with a wheel on Call of Duty, but F1 is a very different world, and he's not doing too bad. He's beating Will at the moment. Will's participated in some of these not the GP events, so I think that'll be a gloating right there. And the McLaren team is now, we see Tyrrell Limitless get very close to the rear end of the Racing Boy car of JP Smith there, and may potentially have had some more damage. It was quite a hefty touch there, so for his sake I hope he doesn't have more damage on that front wing. But of course the Racing Point getting a decent defensive drive in sector 3, but he's got the DRS into turn 1. It's going to cut the corner quite a fair bit to make the move, but he'll make it stick, I think, and so he's up into P7. Bob's your uncle and on the way to maybe catch the Red Bull in P6 then.
Well, I'm glad he did, because that could have been a mother and father of a shot. I mean, that was very close between them there. But look at this. Shane Bollock-Bassi now right in the gearbox of Charles Leclerc.
This is what we want to see. This
Absolutely.
is it.
I mean, this is what we've been asking for a long time. F1 esports drivers going head-to-head against the real thing. Two-time race winner Charles Leclerc against Shane Bollock-Bassi. This is going to be very exciting. Buckle your seatbelts up, folks. Lap 7 out of 17. These two are going to the end now. They've made their pit stops, and Latifi is dropping back 4.7 behind at the minute. I think I've seen Charles Leclerc actually pick up a 3-second time penalty on that previous lap. Not too sure what it's like for Shane Bollock-Bassi. I've not seen anything from him in terms of penalties, so he is kind of in pole position to take that win at the moment, but we want to see it on the track, and I'm sure Jim thinks the same way about it as they make their way through that first corner, and he's right behind him. Is he considering a move up the inside? Not quite. He's going to just wait, bide his time, and go for a move down into turn 6. So Leclerc does quite well actually coming out of there, gets a good run, but here, this is where the DRS will open up. This is where the ERS usage will come, and is Shane Bollock-Bassi, the Turkish driver, going to make the move on Charles Leclerc down into the braking zone for the hairpin? He's got through, but Leclerc tries to hold it on the inside. Oh, he's so late on the brakes, and he forces him out, and he holds on to the lead of the Grand Prix. Great racing there, and as we saw last week in the Veloce versus, Leclerc is not scared to hit the brake pedal pretty late, and he did it there again, and somehow holds on to the lead of the race. Out of great racing.
Charles is very much one of the late breakers here on the F1 game. He's got that nail down so quickly, having only picked up the game a few weeks ago. Chem, though, kudos, tried to make the move, but I think now he's learned. Maybe now he's, maybe that's a little feeler out that yes, Charles is going to give him a real good fight now. Now he knows, okay, no messing around, gloves are off now. We've got to just try and get him and mince him, basically, because, potentially he thought going up to that overtake, okay, he's a Formula 1 driver, maybe feels a bit of pressure on the F1 game, but no, Charles just cool as a cucumber there, but he can go again. He's got DRS again through turn 1, a little bit wayward there as he wrestles the steering wheel, drifts through the first corner. Again, he'll be patient and just wait for this next right-hander, and he'll wind up like a slingshot here now onto the back straight, and he takes his through as he opens DRS. Surely another attempt at an overtake, but will Charles defend successfully once again?
Well, he's caught him a little bit earlier on the straight this time. Has Shane Bollock-Bassi. It's going to be even harder now for Charles to get back down the inside, and I think he's not going to do it. Again, he's late on the brakes. He tries to hold it around the inside, now cuts back on the exit, but Bollock-Bassi parks the car on the apex, makes it difficult for Leclerc to get on the throttle, and Shane Bollock-Bassi now does take the lead of the German Grand Prix, but I think there's a long way to go in this particular story, because we've still got around 8 laps to go, and this is going to go the whole distance, and if they keep scrapping like this, Arif, you never know. we might see Nicholas Latifi get involved later on.
Perhaps he could just play in there. He's 5 seconds back right now, so they'd have to really go side by side for about 3-4 laps here in my experience around Hockenheim, but it could well happen. But now this is where for Cem it gets very interesting. Okay, he's overtaken a Formula 1 driver, a race winner Formula 1 driver, but now can he actually just keep it calm in that first place, do what he needs to do what he does best as a esports driver for the Toro Rosso team last season, and just try and keep his head and stay out in the lead. Right now Leclerc will be right on the back of him there, very wide on the exit, but right up behind him. Will he go for the move down the inside? Yes, he does. It's a late dive, but he makes it work. But now Cem will have the behind line, will have the toe, the slipstream, and he's got a great exit, and he's switched back on him on the left-hand side. He's got DRS now, and so he's been minced, the Toro Rosso driver, back up into first place. But now will Leclerc get a second phase of that toe to make a dive and go round the outside? Is he going to go the long way round? No, Cem holds a very wide line and maintains first place. But this is exquisite. F1 esports driver versus a real life driver, and he continues. Oh my word! As Leclerc goes round the outside of the left-hander at the Mercedes grandstand, and what a move to take the race lead back.
Oh, unbelievable, Arnav. He's done it once already, and he's done it again round the outside into that corner. Once on Latifi, another Formula 1 driver. Now once on an F1 esports driver. Charles Leclerc regains the lead then, and twice they changed positions on that lap. Charles, you could argue initially the first time it turned two maybe was a wee bit premature with that manoeuvre, because of course it gave Cem the DRS to come straight back through, but Charles didn't mind because he'd done it at the Mercedes-Benz grandstand once again. This is going to go the whole distance, lap after lap after lap. Now, on to lap 11. Bollock-Bassi once again is the man behind, and he's the one in the toe, ready to have a look at Charles. Charles a little bit deep this time into the corner. Bollock-Bassi will get on that throttle a little bit sooner, and he opens up the DRS, and once again, he's going to be coming sailing past, I think. Leclerc chooses not to defend the inside line, and the Monegasque driver is going to be overtaken once again down this straight. Bollock-Bassi regains the lead, and Leclerc trying again down the inside. Another late manoeuvre. Oh, Bollock-Bassi had to turn away from the corner. We had to turn away from the screen, for goodness sake. But incredibly, Charles Leclerc is back through again, and once again making great use of that brake pedal.
You know what, Charles Leclerc, these are dive bombs any F1 YouTuber would be proud of. I tell you what, this is a stat. Maybe he's been watching some of our videos. He's been taking some tips, because that, my word, that dive bomb wasn't from Germany. That was from like the Hungarian GP and back. That was a worldly dive on Cem Bollock-Bassi, and fair play to Cem, like you said, turned out of that respect between these two racers. They're on a primal level, you know, just driver v driver on the F1 game here. Had the respect to turn out and make sure there wasn't too much contact, and they can live to fight another day. And thankfully for us, it'll be another 6 laps here, Andy. This is gonna, if it keeps going like this, we might be out of breath by the end of this.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just lap after lap after lap. We mentioned just how powerful the DRS and the slipstream is, and you know, you get a dose of that DRS around down this straight too, so it just sets you up perfectly from turn 1 to turn 2. And once again, Bollock-Bassi is going to have to try another move on Charles Leclerc. Again, Charles Leclerc defends the inside, and once again, Cem Bollock-Bassi breezes past, but we've already seen many times what Charles Leclerc is like on the brake pedal down here. Is he going to go for it this time? No, not this time. It seems like he's going to be content with second for now and just hold up and perhaps try and save some of that ERS. But despite that, he's still right in the slipstream behind Cem Bollock-Bassi. Is he going to go for the hat-trick into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand section? He might, you know. He is, you know. But Bollock-Bassi's wise to it, and he clings on. Lap 12 out of 17, and we're all on the edge of the seat. I hope you guys are too, wherever you are around the world watching, because this is fantastic stuff.
This is exquisite. This is Formula 1 chess being played out on the biggest stage here, really, because they're just swapping left and right. And like we saw many times last year at F1 esports events, you know, the top two battling, and they use each other to pull away from the grid, as they have, because now the gap is 7 seconds to Latifi. So they're in a world of their own now, but now they need to both play this very tactically, because it's a case of almost, you might want to be in second place going on to that final lap of the Grand Prix. So maybe that's why Leclerc's just hanging back. But here, looks like aggressive into turn 1. Maybe he goes for a move this time round. No, he's going to just wait. Maybe he's now learnt finally, because he did previously make a move into this right-hander. Now he's kind of maybe picked up that, okay, I should maybe just wait here, because the F1 game, the slipstream is so powerful on the base game. So here he goes now with DRS open. Cem, a little bit movement to the right. Charles will go on the left there, and that should be a slam dunk overtake. But will Cem now be late on the brakes and repay the favour maybe into the hairpin? No, because look how late the Ferrari man. Oh, he's gone wide though. And Cem has a little sneak, but then in the end gets acceleration there. And so we go for another halfway through the lap where they've swapped positions once again, Andy.
Yeah, well, I think Shem there, using his experience of playing the game quite a lot, he realises that there's no need for me to go straight back up the inside here. As you mentioned at the start of the lap, Arif, sometimes it's just about saving the battery, being in that second place, ready to pounce in the final lap. Give yourself the ammunition, give yourself plenty of ERS charge to go and use the boost and to power past at the end. So, we've seen Leclerc desperate to get back through on the inside a couple of times at the hairpin. Shem, less interested in going for that move, but of course he nearly did, because we saw Charles Leclerc go a little bit wide. We're about to start then, lap number 14 out of 17. Leclerc leads from Shem Bolek-Bassi as Pietro Fittipaldi picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It's Latifi in third, Thibaut Courtois having an absolutely incredible race.
Stonking race for him.
In fourth position.
Great. P4 now from Romeo. Brilliant stuff. Ben is in P5, not too far behind though, 1 second back. So that might be a fight to watch later on as the race ends towards lap number 17. But here we are running on board with Shem Bolek-Bassi in the Toro Rosso in second place, and he's going to go for another move. Oh, it's a bit of a wobble as Leclerc made a very late decision to go left there, and the nerves really had to be tested for the Toro Rosso driver, but he's held his own and he's back up into first. But Leclerc with the switchback move on the right hand side, and now might have the nose in for what is usually a flat out corner in qualifying there. Grazes the grass, he's on the outside, has to go the long way round.
Not
and
again.
Needs to make a little bit of contact there. There's wheel-to-wheel stuff, and this is absolutely brilliant. Will they keep it going into the stadium section there? Leclerc on the inside, Bolek-Bassi the long way around, surely has to lift off. Yes, he does. And they just about make it through, all intact, but oh my God, this is all getting so too much.
Oh, the heat is getting turned up lap after lap after lap. We're at boiling point here as we get on to lap number 15 now. Still, Shem Bolek-Bassi and Charles Leclerc battling away. It's been a feature of the race from the very start, and still they continue all the way through the middle sector. This time they battled. What will happen this time is Charles Leclerc, for the third time, goes for that move round the outside at the Mercedes grandstand section. But this time it's Bolek-Bassi behind him on lap number 15. Is he going to go for the move again? Will Leclerc go for that late move to the inside to defend? We'll have to wait and see. I think Shem Bolek-Bassi is going to be alongside much sooner this time. He is. He's already pulling alongside. Leclerc tries to squeeze him, but through goes Bolek-Bassi once again into the lead. Will we see a late move from Leclerc again? No. Again, maybe learning from previous laps and decides against it, and we'll try on the next lap perhaps. So Bolek-Bassi once again back up into the lead of this race. Leclerc, I don't think he's close enough this time, is he, to go around the outside? Not quite, as we've got Courtois and Limitless doing battle. Courtois trying to hold off Limitless. We're expecting that to become a big scrap later on. Courtois versus Limitless versus Tiamat Marat. We'll see if we can actually watch it, because this is too good. It really is incredible, Adam, isn't it?
There's too much action here, but that is a very interesting battle. Courtois v Tyrrell Limitless. Those two actually somewhat friendly. Tyrrell Limitless has been training a little bit with Courtois at the very start when we did the Oz GP, and so those two will have, I think, a real relish of battle between those two, and as well, like you said, Tiamat Marat in there in P6. But if this battle keeps on going, I think the race director will kind of pray that we have kind of two cameras in a way to show you, because there's not going to be enough time to show you both, because Leclerc once again through turn one, very close, as we've got someone spun round there and ghosted there, unfortunately. So one of the cars out of this Grand Prix. Leclerc hangs back once again, and it's that usual slingshot through this left. Open DRS now. Shem very aggressively to the left-hand side to try and break the toe, but albeit for no to come, because the Leclerc is on the left. He's already got the slipstream and the toe, and he's fully passed into turn one. Will Shem make a late dive? Looks like he might. Yes, he does. Very late on the brakes there, taking a feather out of the Ferrari driver's books there, and he's up into first place once again. This is, he's living his dream right now, battling Charles Leclerc.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's great to see. Look at Leclerc switching back to the inside, and he made it work. He's went to the outside 3 times. He's now going for the inside. Not this time though. Bolek-Bassi should have the corner, but they're still side by side, entering the stadium section, and it's almost single file through here. They need to be careful, and Leclerc just about sweeps around the outside and holds on. That is absolutely brilliant racing once again between the pair, and we're now about to start the final lap of the race.
It's crunch time. This is it.
Pick a winner, Adam. Pick a winner.
I'm going to have to go for Charles Leclerc. He's made some fantastic overtakes. Chem has been such a big competitor, so kudos to him. But Leclerc a little bit wide, though, so he might be there, and he take us through. This is the final. This is it. Crunch time. This is it. The last lap. Chem's second place here. The best place to be, potentially.
Well, this is it. It's real-life Formula One taking on the F1 Esports Series. Who's going to come out on top? That is Charles Leclerc in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. He must be getting a bit nervous. He defends the inside. Bollock Bassi goes down the outside. Is he far enough ahead? Leclerc will try again. Bollock Bassi doesn't want to let him through, but Leclerc somehow squeezes down the inside and has the place. So he has the lead for now, but we've seen this before. It will continue all the way down to the Mercedes Grandstand section. On the final lap, we go to the helicopter shot. Leclerc again breaks late, again squeezes Bollock Bassi out, and again holds the lead of this Grand Prix. Remember though, he does have a 3-second time penalty. I'm not too sure about Shem. We'll see when we get to the flag. But Leclerc is trying everything, and Bollock Bassi slides, hits the gravel. And surely that decides it on the track. We'll see what the stewards say, because we've seen Leclerc on a penalty. As round the final couple of corners, Charles Leclerc will win race 1 on the road. Does he win it on the timings though? That's the question. Leclerc across the line first. The timing says that Bollock Bassi though takes the victory. And wow, what a race. I'm just glad, Arif, that we got to see them battle it out on the racetrack regardless of that time penalty.
That was absolutely exquisite. What was that? 8 laps of straight battling there. Absolutely brilliant. Latifi in third. He was 5 seconds back. They were literally in a different planet there after that first pit stop there, Andy. Wow, that was very unique. That is the beauty of this entire situation here, having a Formula 1 driver versus F1 esports driver at the top level there, duking out for 8-9 laps. Amazing.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff, Arif. I mean, that's what we've always wanted to see, and we're seeing it now. It's fantastic. Great racing between the two. And, and I think both of them deserve to win the race after that. It was fantastic to watch. Latifi in third in the end. But, interesting point. We never got to see it because of how good the action was. Tiamat Marik and Thierry Limitless getting ahead of Thibaut Courtois in the end, who will be a little bit gutted. They're probably as gutted as I am for not getting the chance to see it, but we couldn't because it was that good at the front. Yeah,
it was actually just too good to cut away from, but I'm sure they had a very exquisite battle, which we'll see later on some other POVs, but that first place battle, that was the one to watch. That was the box office ticket there.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, could you pick a move out of what was your favourite one out there?
Honestly, I think that move around the outside in front of the Mercedes Grandstand, it was a late move there. They banged tyres literally through the entire section, left and right, down the crest and up it. Again, that was exquisite stuff. But equally, there's so many moves that Chen made as well that are very punchy. And, you think, the nerve setting, you're battling a race-winning F1 driver and you go full send, like full kudos to the Turkish driver.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Absolutely incredible. What about your driver of the day from that one, Arif? Could you pick one driver in particular? Was there anyone further down that you liked as well, doing well?
I might be a little bit biased here, but I'm going to give a little shout to Courtois. I think he did very well. I'd be disappointed to be jumped by Thierry Limitless and Tiamat Marik at the end there, but I think a very strong qualifying. Was in P4 for most of the race, and you got to remember, he is a goalkeeper. This is not his first job, so the fact he's just hopping in is that competitive against real-life Formula 1 drivers and content creators who play this game on hours on end all year round is exquisite stuff. But of course, the top two battling obviously have an honourable mention there as well.
Yeah, great stuff. Arif, Hayden, are you there? What was your thoughts, Hayden, on the racing so far? Did you enjoy what you've seen out there?
The most incredible races I have ever seen on the F1 2019 game, battling every single lap between Charles Leclerc and Chen Bollock Bassi. It felt like a bit of a weird one for me to be actually watching instead of commentating with yourself like we have done over the previous ones. But I wasn't just doing nothing, sat back and watching. I've been looking over the donations through the last 25% race. We have hit our next goal of 8,000, like you said, just before the race got started, £8,365.10, which is absolutely incredible. A few donations that have come in. This one from J. Daniel P. said the best race that they've seen during lockdown. So, well, I would say thank you very much for that. However, we've got to thank the likes of Charles Leclerc and Chen Bollock Bassi for that incredible battle that those two had between them. St. Laurent also sent in a donation, as well as Sally. We've got Carstens, who said, send it into the first corner. A lot of you I did see sending donations and also sending your wishes to your favourite drivers. One of them saying, sending in a donation. This was anonymous. Us hoping that WillNE would get the podium. Unfortunately, just missed out on the points, but there is a reverse grid race coming up, so maybe we can see that. You can also get in touch with us using the hashtag #NotTheGP. We are going to be reading out a few of your tweets as the show goes on, but don't worry, we will be getting back to the racing very shortly. The guys behind the scenes are setting up the next race. They need to make sure that they get everyone back in. Unfortunately, we did have a few technical issues with a few of the drivers getting disconnected from the session. So we will be trying our best to try and fix that for the reverse grid race. But we are trying to get them all back in and then get the grid set for the next race, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Don't forget, you can still donate. You can donate throughout the whole show by looking in the description down below if you are on YouTube, the panels if you're watching on Twitch, or just type into the chat, !donate, and you can get involved that way. No matter how big or small your donation, it will still go a long way. And as I said earlier, if you can't donate, then you can still play your part by staying safe and staying at home. Arava, are you still there? Is Arav still there? Although we've got a tweet that's just come in. This is from Robbie Harry. That was mental. Pity the time penalty had to ruin it. But damn, Leclerc is quick against an esports driver. I mean, that tweet sort of says it all, doesn't it, Arav?
Yes, it does.
F1 esports driver against an F1 driver, and there was nothing to split them apart from, unfortunately, a little penalty. But nevertheless, it was incredible racing.
Absolutely. I've just about recovered, Aidan, from that. That was insane just to watch. Like you said, you wouldn't have guessed one of them was the esports driver, one of them was the real-life Formula 1 driver, because, you know, when you go on the F1 game, that's it. It's just you, the car, and the virtual competitor. And, I mean, the way Chen was battling him with so much confidence, you know, bravo to him. And then, of course, Charles has taken to this game so well with some fantastic overtakes. And, we couldn't have asked for more, basically, from race one.
Well, you touched upon it briefly. Charles Leclerc picking up the game so recently, but then being so quick so soon. It looked like there was going to be no one who could challenge him, but then has upset Cem Bullock-Bassi, and they've put on an incredible show so far. Do you see anyone else getting in that mix in this next reverse grid coming up?
It will be interesting. I mean, Cem himself is an expert at the reverse grid race. He did so well the Bahrain GP one. I think you've got the likes of Tim Marduk who want some vengeance in this second race and to do a lot better as well. And then you've just got the entire kind of caveat of all the other guys who finished maybe a little bit slower in race one. They'll be there at the front now, the sharp end on, you know, I was there in the Bahrain GP, absolutely bricking it, looking behind me, all these fast drivers. Will any of them be able to kind of emulate the defensive drive I did against Latifi? We'll have to see, but that's going to be very exciting to see, and that's why it's a very unique way that we're running this race. That's why I'm very happy we've got this reverse grid action.
How difficult then are those reverse grid races? Because like you said, you've got the slower guys who usually will end up at the front. I know we had a few disconnections, so we might have one of the faster guys near the front and of the grid, maybe running away with it until the likes of Charles Leclerc and Cem Bullock-Bassi can get through the pack. But what is the strategy here? Do you just gun it? Do you go for it, be as aggressive as you can and send as many moves as you possibly can? Or do you bide your time and wait for the opening?
I think there's many ways to go about it. It really is the rubber of the green. I think Cem, you saw in the Bahrain GP reverse grid, he just absolutely sent it. Got very lucky actually a little bit then into turns 1 and 2 with some major contact there for him. But I think, you know, it kind of depends on the caliber of the driver, I think. And, you know, if you've got that confidence that Charles and Cem have in the car, they can send it. Others might want to go a little bit more cautious. Potentially the likes of Charles Leclerc, who had a bit of damage at the start of that first race. Maybe he might go more cautious now to make sure he's in that fight. Doesn't have a front wing change that takes him out of the race per se.
So we've got the reverse grid coming up. Like we said, who's your money on for making up the most positions in this race?
Oh, that's a tough one here. I'm going to pick someone that's not Charles or Cem, because we've said them so many times. You know, I reckon Ben Tim Marduk, he's going to have the grip between his teeth. You know, I think got a little bit unlucky. We didn't quite see it, but I think he got held up a little bit in that first turn chaos there. So I think he's got a bit between his teeth, as well as Cyril Leclerc, who I said had some damage there as well. So both of the content creators wanted to put on a good show for the second race.
There was a few surprise results in the race. Of course, Thibaut Courtois, we have seen him getting better and better at the game, but he has been somewhat off the pace of maybe the regular players of the F1 2019 game. This time around, though, he was right in the mix with the likes of Thibaut Marduk and Tyrrell Limmers. Can we possibly see him maybe starting further up the grid, get the jump on his rivals behind him?
Potentially, obviously, as a goalkeeper, he's used to trying to save things. So can he save his second race and save that position for himself as the race goes on? We'll have to see. He's in the Alfa Romeo, did a great job for them in qualifying. And the race, to be fair, we didn't see it, but he just got pipped at the end of the race. But most of it, he was in P4 by himself. So I think he'll be good to go. He's obviously had experience with the virtual GPs as well. So he's gotten better and better as the weeks have gone on. So, I think he'll do pretty damn decent, I think.
Be honest with me. How long have you been waiting to get that pun in today?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I had it saved up in my locker. I've got a few other puns, but I'm not going to say them. But yeah, that was a personal favourite of mine that I've just said.
You're waiting for the battle between Jem Bulabasi and Charles Leclerc to die down so they could go over to the battle of Tiamat Marduk, Limitless and Thibaut Courtois so you could get it in the commentary. But we got there in the end. Looking further down the field, we had a few of the content creators just missing out the points. WillNE, of course, a friend of yours, just missing out, as we've got another tweet coming. This is one from @Blame said, Ninja seems to have switched career paths and become a commentator for the hashtag not the GP. People, I don't know, let me know. Are you loving the blue hair or not? So we just have to wait and see. Arif, how much money are we going to have to raise for you to...
too much money. Too much. Look, if I go blue, I've got such black hair, you're going to have to bleach it so much that you're probably going to kill off my entire hairline, basically. So too much. But it suits you. Let's leave it to the people who it suits. You know?
Okay, I'll take that. Like we were saying, though, the content creators lower down, Noel Miller as well.
He's in the gulag.
They did impress us.
If you think about it, this in between this first race and the second race is like the gulag, and he did very well. He won the gulag with the wheel, so it's time to redeploy, as they say in Warzone, go for the second race and try and come back at them, and he's going to have an advantage against the F1 drivers. So let's see. I really hope that Noel can put on a show for us.
We had a few drivers who are unfortunately disconnected before we even got going. The likes of being our boss, Jean-Éric Vergne, who has got the pace to possibly get into maybe the top 5 or push further. Of course, he's going to be starting right at the front of the grid now. So what would be his plan? You know, you started the grid in the last race. You started more towards the front in the last race at not the Bar GP. So what sort of tips would you give to him?
Honestly, Jeff, if you're listening, just run for the hills. Don't look back, because if you look back, you're gonna, really brick yourself basically when you see the flashing cars of much faster drivers maybe behind you. But no, just take it easy, go defensive. It's like when I was defending against Latifi for a lot of that Bahrain GP that you commented on, Hayden. It was a case of just keeping cool and thinking, okay, I can keep him behind. If I just place the car correctly and start in the front. And like you said, Jeff does have pace though. That's the difference as well. He did qualify pretty well. So I think if he keeps it clean, hopefully, fingers crossed, then he can have a pretty decent showing. Like you said, he might be one of those ones to run away with it a little bit because he's one of the faster guys, kind of out of place due to that disconnection at the first race. Potentially.
We've just hit another a milestone. It's not one of the ones to unlock an incentive, but we have just hit £9,000 on the total raise, which is absolutely incredible. Reading out a few of the donations, we've got this one from Adam Jaku that said WillNE square head. So there we go. I don't know whether that's a supporter for WillNE or whether
go either way, to be honest.
Actually WillNE down, but it could go either way. And we've got one from Crispy5 Chris that says, no, about to clap cheeks in this race. We've got a lot of support for the content creators, and this is their chance to shine because they will be starting at the front of the grid.
Yeah, this is where they can actually this is where they can create the content, essentially. The content they build themselves on. This is where it comes. The reverse race, they're up there and they can try and do their best. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, to defend against a Formula One driver than attack them because they're so good under the brakes. But if you can defend, you're going to literally park the car on every apex, then they can do a decent job. So this is where they can try and shine, yeah.
We've got another tweet. This has just come in from, I'm not going to read out that but hashtag not the GP. Loving this. Fun to watch on a Saturday evening. I love how that one has slipped through. Apologies for that if you are watching at home. But a lot of people at home are loving these. And, it's brilliant to see that despite the bad situation that has gone across the whole entire globe, good things like this can come out of it, where we have F1 drivers, content creators and celebrities coming together, putting on shows which we just saw, which was absolutely incredible. Like, it's not just going to be a case of the guys who usually play it are miles ahead. People can battle with people that you just wouldn't expect them to battle with.
Yeah, no, it's great. And we're making the best of a really poor situation, of course. And I think this shows the solidarity of the motorsport community as well, coming together. Also, it's great for the younger Formula One drivers, showing their personalities off a lot more. We've seen so much personality from Charles, dressing up in a lemon costume on his stream, playing with lawnmowers on other games. So, you get these personalities trickling in as well. And like you said, to be able to see the top gamers, the esports drivers battling them, for them, it's a dream come true. But also for us, us, it's great entertainment. And, you know, it's maybe virtual, but it's just as entertaining, if not, in my opinion, a bit more entertaining than the real life stuff a lot of the time.
It really is. It goes to show that I suppose it won't replace F1. We can't say it's going to replace F1 because you still have the atmosphere and the smell and the sound of the cars and everything that goes into a real life F1 race. But it goes to show that it can work as a potential support race in the future, that esports can provide entertainment for fans sitting at home. And, you know, it's replacing it for now. It won't do in the future, but potentially there is potential for it to be on the big stage later on.
Yeah, and with things like the reverse grid race we're about to see as well, it also kind of just shows that, you know, the esports realm, it's not just esports, it's just gaming in general. You know, you've got these content creators that aren't as quick. They're there still, and they can also give us some entertainment.
Yes, thank you very much, Arav. I am going to hand back to you and Ginger Andy as we are about to get ready for the second race, the reverse grid race for Not the GP.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to this one. It should be another exciting race. Of course, I mean, that first race, Arav, we had with everyone at the right speed, you know, in terms of position on the grid. This time it's going to be in reverse. There's going to be even more excitement on the track, isn't there? It's
going to be so hectic. You've got the fast starters at the back. They're going to try and slide through basically like a hot knife through butter. And then you've got some of the, like we mentioned before with Hayden, a couple of fast people that were disconnected, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be a kind of dark horse basically at the very start of this race. And then you've got that midfield pack, which is, I can't imagine how much chaos is going to be there into turn one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the likes of Giovinazzi and Jean-Éric Vergne can start from the front and stay at the front for the majority of the race. We know, of course, how quick Shem and Charles and Nicholas Latifi are, but, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if they can hold their position. But, of course, TMM Marek as well and TRL Limitless, they're going to have the grid position over the others now. And, of course, they were only a tenth or two away from pole position. So can they themselves hold off the likes of Leclerc and Bollock-Bassi? So, you know, I think this race is going to be wide open. It's just going to be about who can get the moves done in the right place of the track and just, you know, be daring on the brakes, which we know Charles Leclerc loves to do, don't we?
Yeah, I think we're going to maybe potentially see 3, maybe 4 wide on that main back straight on lap 1. You never know if they really want to get punchy, you know. I think I could have envisaged Charles just trying to make it 4 wide, get down the inside to get those moves, because the Formula 1 drivers, they're relentless. They're not going to wait about. They might be patient and cool, but they're also not going to dawdle, and they're going to make the move when they can see it. Obviously, that racing driver instinct. So I think on the opening laps, it's going to be exquisite. So here we go then, Andy.
Yep, we're on to the formation lap then, and as you can see, it is indeed Antonio Giovinazzi and Jean-Éric Vergne starting from the pole position. Yeah, great front row, fantastic. You think it was the normal grid, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think it was the reverse grid, but you know, just the unfortunate situation we had with the disconnect. So yeah, Giovinazzi on pole with Jean-Éric Vergne alongside. On that second row, we've got Chris Lake with Peach Street and P4. Ian Poulter, you mentioned about him and his steering wheel problems, how he's managed to solve them. A bit messy in that first race, but you know, with that higher grid position, Arif, an opportunity for him to get a good result as well.
Yeah, potentially. If he's keeping out of the danger, I think he could be a dark horse of maintaining that position for at least a decent while during that race.
Yeah, we'll see how Poulter gets on. Al Capone starts from 6th. Then we've got Noel, who, you know, did a really good job. He and WillNE did a really solid job. Just not enough for the points, but with that higher grid position, maybe it could be today they could get in the points in the second race, Adam.
Yeah, maybe they could get a victory royale. You never know. You never know. We'll have to see. Then you've got J. Pete Smith in the middle of them in P8. Yep. Then you've got, they'll be saying, the second Red Bull in P10. He's starting on medium tyres. Interesting there. Then you've got the Mercedes PLO. And then you've got Pietro Fittipaldi in P12. Then we get to the kind of, you know, like the guys we've been talking about the entire time. Thibaut Courtois, now from P13. Terrell Limitless, Tim Marduk ahead of the Formula 1 drivers, Nicholas Latifi, Charles Leclerc in second last, and then Chen Bollock-Bassi, the winner, in last place, starting on the mediums as well. So a difference of tyre strategy between those two battling the front last time out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. So we might not see them together on the racetrack as often, but they might all come to a head come the finish. We'll have to wait and see with the different tyre strategies. So Chen Bollock-Bassi, as you say, on the medium tyre. Same for Thibaut Courtois and Lebussi. So let's see then as the drivers line up on the grid. Reverse grid, race number 2. It was Chen Bollock-Bassi that took the victory in the first one. Charles Leclerc won it on the racetrack, but Bollock-Bassi in the stewards room took it. And here we go then, the 5 red lights coming on. Race number 2 here at Hockenheim is go! And it is Antonio Giovinazzi leading them away. We get away eventually. Giovinazzi then leading down into that first corner with Jean-Éric Vergne in second. It was a poor start from Jev, and Giovinazzi is absolutely flying. He streaks clear with Jev in second and Peachmeat in third. We've got a yellow flag further down. Poulter already quite low down, and Courtois as well, as we continue with the front action at the minute and now move into the midfield. Chris Lake there, side by side, and ahead of WillNE, up into fourth position, but it's still Giovinazzi in the league with Jev second, Peachmeat third, and Chris Lake in fourth, as the midfield are so bunched up together.
Look at that shot.
You said it before wide, Adam. There may be 5 or 6 wide in there.
That is amazing. Amazing stuff. Ben up Tim Hardick up into P9 there, as now you can see Giovinazzi going defensive against Jev. So this is wonderful. Ex-Formula 1 driver versus current Formula 1 driver. The Alfa Romeo racing driver going defensive, but Jev sends it down the inside. There's contact, but Jev gets the elbows out there. It's 3 wide. How does that happen? The racing points come out of nowhere.
Good God, where did Peachmeat come from there? He felt like getting right involved with some Formula 1 drivers. Thankfully, they didn't all come together and collect each other.
The Mercedes.
Two Mercedes. Toto Wolff will be banging the fists on the desks once again, I think. Who was that? Was that Di Piello and...
I think so. I think Di Piello and the other Mercedes driver out. I think Chris Lake down the order. So Mercedes civil war at the Mercedes home GP. Is now Jev retakes the lead ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi into turn 1. Lap number 2. And so Gio under pressure a little bit. And oh no. Antonio Giovinazzi, unfortunately, is disconnected from the session. That's unfortunate there. He was having such a great battle with Jev. So now Jev on his own there. Peachmeat doing a great job in second place then, the Racing Point car. And WillNE in P4. What a lad in the McLaren there, doing a great job.
Incredible stuff from WillNE. He's about to be attacked though from Tiamat Marduk. They're going to go 3 wide into the braking zone. Look how tight it is. And through goes Tiamat Marduk up ahead of WillNE and Peachmeat and into second place. And now he will begin the chase of Jean-Éric Vergne. We've got 3 wide behind that though. We've got one of the Haas cars trying to get involved. I think it's Pietro Fittipaldi. Oh no, he's into the wall. Who was that? Was that Peachmeat he's gone off with? I think it was. And the two of them go careering into the barrier on the run down to turn 8. They locked wheels and they were only going one place, and that was into the barrier, as Charles Leclerc is up to 4th already.
Look at this. No surprise. The Formula 1 driver in the sign on the last row is up into P4. It's a great day for Ferrari as a whole. Tim Marduk in second place. So the two teammates doing well, as we now have a shot of Thibaut Courtois on the bottom left. He's the sole man flying the flag for Alfa Romeo and doing a great job as well from the first race now into this second one there. But WillNE, he must be absolutely bricking it right now, because he's got Charles Leclerc in his mirrors there. Here he goes. He goes defensive to the inside. The McLaren driver does, but Leclerc around the top. But look at the dive bomb from Will. He's absolutely sent it. Go on, lad. What a great showing there. He's given it his all. He's gave it a great shot. And you know what? He might even have a chance to slipstream him down this back straight. You never know with DRS as well. Lap number 3, remember? So here he goes. WillNE versus Charles Leclerc. He's going to be loving it, the man in the McLaren cockpit there. Leclerc backs out that one because Will has set it far too wide and deep, and he's blown it, unfortunately. I think that might be over. It might be curtains for him, because I think surely Leclerc's now going to pull away. But for what was that? Nearly half a lap there. WillNE living out a fantasy dream there, battling with Charles Leclerc.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from WillNE. Great to see him getting the elbows out and taking it to a Formula 1 driver. Absolutely epic. One of the highlights of the stream so far, that. Great stuff from WillNE. Really determined. He saw Leclerc coming past. He thought, no, that's it. Game over. No big event. No. WillNE does what Leclerc's been doing all afternoon. Dives late on the brakes. Sends it down the inside and retakes that place and says, no, you're not getting past me that easily, Charles. But in the end, the quality showed, as Charles Leclerc does eventually get through. But here is
damage for Chem. Big damage for Chem. That is such a shame there on that left-hand side of the front wing there. The end plate is off. He's still driving around with it. Of course, he's on the medium tyre, so he has to make this strategy work, because he can't pit this early for the soft tyre. So that will really hamper him there. So the race winner of race number 1, unfortunately, probably taken out of contention for probably even maybe the points, depending on how he goes on this stint there. So that's really unfortunate for him, as you see the ghost car, the Alfa Romeo Giovinazzi, driving around there. But Chem in P8, then Ian Poulter in the Renault, the golfer, catching up potentially. So we might see golfer v F1 esports driver soon.
Well, that's the beauty of this series, isn't it, Adam? We get to see so many things you just wouldn't expect to see at any other time. As we got some side-by-side action here. We've got Jay Peachmeat up to 5th place ahead of Veloce, as we keep an eye on WillNE there, who's enjoying himself, isn't he, after
loving life.
That great move.
Absolutely loving life. He's done the content creators proud there for P4. He's still there. You know, I think there's been a lot of chaos behind. I think, unfortunately, Courtois is now down to P15. I can see Latifi is still in P13. So there was a lot of chaos that's occurred. So people like Will have really come out on top with that. I think he can stay in P4 for quite a few laps here, actually, because there's quite a few gaps down. Got Pete Speed 4 seconds back. Then we're running board. We've got a shot of Ian Poulter now in P8 here. He's being chased after by the other Toro Rosso here. And then you've got Tyrrell Limitless, who unfortunately again seems to have maybe been caught up in action as he's down in P11.
Yeah, so down in 11th, this TRL Limitless not going to plan for him as Charles Leclerc now lines up TMF Marek. The two red cars going side by side in a moment, I would assume. So here comes Leclerc gaining on TMF Marek, and he's going to dive down the inside and go chasing after Jean-Éric Vergne. Can TMF Marek hold it round the outside? We've already seen him battling away with Lando Norris in recent weeks in these events, and it looks like he's going to go battling with Charles Leclerc. TMF Marek just about holds on. Leclerc trying everything. Will we see another trademark Leclerc move into the hairpin or into turn 8? Nope, not quite. And he's a little bit wide there, TMF Marek. The Aussie's in trouble, and here comes the Monegasque driver, Charles Leclerc, right onto the tail. TMF Marek running very wide. They're both reeling in. Jean-Éric Vergne, quite a rate of knots, and this two-way fight is about to become a three-way fight then. Jean-Éric Vergne versus TMF Marek versus Charles Leclerc with, WillNE and P4 behind them. Incredible stuff, Adam.
Absolutely amazing. You've got, as Ben comes in for an early pit stop then, so I was about to say a top three of two-time Formula E world champion. Then you've got Ben, obviously well-known content creator on the F1 game, and then you've got Leclerc, two-time F1 winning driver. So now it's time for the two real drivers to do battle here. And Jeff goes wide, unfortunately, and Leclerc pounces. No remorse there and gets the job done. But will Jeff come back at him? He's got DRS to come as we now cut back to TMF Marek and comes out just ahead of Tyrrell Limitless. So he's timed that to perfection there with some clean air ahead of him. So he's going to want to hope they can use that clean air to his to effect. And maybe if Jev and Leclerc fight too much, that Ben could capitalise on this and come out in first.
Well, Jev's now back in front of Charles Leclerc, so that battle will continue. We missed that one in the shot, but look at this. TMF Marek coming out in huge clean air, an opportunity to perhaps leapfrog into the lead with Leclerc battling with Vergne. So here we go, on board now with Veloce, gaining on J. Peachsmeet then in the battle for 4th and 5th. Veloce, of course, on the medium tyre, one of the three drivers that chose to go on those. So he's running pretty well at the moment. Thibaut Courtois has actually been forced onto the hards, so he must have took damage in that opening lap. He was one of the three that started on mediums, so he's gone to the hards, and it's not looking too good for him. But Veloce running pretty well in 4th place, hunting down J. Peachsmeet in the battle for 4th position. But into the pits has come Jean-Éric Vergne and Charles Leclerc, and this is where we find out if the Aussie TMF Marek has put in the work in that in lap and out lap to move back in front and into the lead of this race. Let's see the battle in the pit stops. It looks like Vergne is ahead of Leclerc, so it's still Red Bull making it work in the pit stops. But where is TMF Marek? Is he going to appear in the shot any moment now? There he is, blasting through side by side with Vergne. Is he going to take it? Yes, he is. Brilliant stuff, Adam.
He's done it. He's into first place. Jev a bit wide. He's on the hard tire for some reason, Jev. I think the Red Bull mechanics have got it all confused there in the pit stops. Don't know why he'd be on hards unless he had damage or some sort. But Tyrrell Limitless also in there. So it's going to be 3 wide between a content creator, F1 driver and F1 lead driver. It's all very close indeed as Jev squeezes Leclerc to the inside there. Leclerc, though, as we know, late on the brakes, gets the job done. And so it's a Ferrari 2-3 there. But Leclerc now chases after his teammates. That's going to be a battle. That's going to be such a battle.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Great work from TMF Marek, though, in the pit stop to get it done. As here comes Tyrrell Limitless trying to fight with Jev. Of course, look at that, holding it round the outside. Tyrrell Limitless, there's slight contact between them going into the stadium section. But the inside line is there for Jean-Éric Vergne, and he's on the fresher tyres, and he's easily back up through. Tyrrell Limitless trying everything to get involved in this battle. And Jev is now dropping off a little bit. Could that be decisive with Limitless getting involved? And is it another battle between Charles Leclerc and TMF Marek? But great work from TMF Marek coming in that little bit earlier, getting the undercut before his teammate got ahead of him, and he now has the net lead of this race. So that's going to be exciting to see those two do battle again. As we look at J. Peachsmeet out there, he's just pitted, he's on the medium tyres, on the fringes of the points, as we immediately shift back to this, because this is going to be really, really exciting. The two Ferraris are going to go side by side through the Parabolica and down towards turn 6. TMF Marek has the lead at the minute. He's tucked right in the slipstream as Leclerc. He's going for the inside. Will he brake very late? He always seems to do it, and he does again here. He's on the inside. Teammate Marek on the outside. Is he going to out-traction his teammate and take the place? Oh, it's a side-by-side dead heat then. Down towards turn 7 and now to turn 8. Will Leclerc try the outside again? No, he can't, but that looked like a late-braking manoeuvre there from teammate Marek. It was, and Leclerc will pull back alongside and take the place on the outside almost. Still side by side. Great stuff into the stadium section, and Ben clings on. And Adam, I'm going to have to bring you in because I need a breath after that.
Leclerc around the outside of the stadium section. That is unreal. He's even the fact that he's even attempted that is insanity there. This is great stuff. And there is the man in question in the bottom left there. Will he be feeling the nerves? He said he was sweating in the 1v1s. Well, this is something even better. This is a full-out battle over multiple laps here for the race victory in this second reverse grid race here at the Hockenheim ring. This is exquisite stuff. Ben in the lead at the moment. Leclerc, though, in second. He's got the DRS here. He's got the slingshot. Will Ben be able to defend? He did quite well in the previous lap. Here we go then, building up this speed in the toe. Where's he going to go? To the right or the left? Where will Ben squeeze him to? Looks like it was a squeeze to the inside there. Leclerc down the inside, late on the brakes, as we expect. A bit of contact made. The elbows are out, and the F1 driver is into first place, but we've got many laps to go, and I'm sure Ben is now going to have the grip between his teeth there. He can sense the victory, but I'm sure he can more so can sense a great battle with a great Formula 1 driver here today.
Absolutely, Adam. He's already went toe-to-toe with Lando Norris in the first version of the Veloce Versus series, and now he's doing it in not the GP here in Germany. This is exciting stuff. Are we going to see a repeat of what we've seen in the previous race? I would absolutely love to see that. There's no doubt about it. But at the minute, Leclerc looks like he's trying to build a gap, trying to build it over 1 second on teammate Marek. It's so difficult to do, and he's trying everything he can. But still, Leclerc leads from teammate Marek second, and it's going to go the distance. So lap number 9, Leclerc's setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and determined to put the foot down and break away out of.
Yeah, well, trying to break that toe is so difficult, though, when you're so level on pace, and it would seem like Ben has got the pace here to try and match Leclerc. And so let's see, with the DRS open, will he gain enough? It's a very powerful back straight here on the F1 game. We have this lovely aerial shot as the Australian gains, but it's not enough. What have I just watched there? That was a horrendous dive bomb down the inside. It's not worked out. He tried to do his best Charles Leclerc impression, and it did not work.
Oh, it did not work at all, Adam. I think Ben's been taking some tips off his fellow Australian F1 driver, Daniel Ricciardo, licking the stamp and sending it down the inside there. It wasn't quite to be, as we have the Toro Rosso diving down the inside and making it work on the Williams. So good move there, as we see the battle on track. Lap number 10 out of 17. Plenty of action throughout the field once again, and it's absolutely great to see the Hockenheim ring providing us great racing once again on this not the GP Grand Prix. As we go back to the front yet again, teammate Marek, despite Charles Leclerc putting the foot down in the last couple of laps, unable to break clear, and he's still right there. And Leclerc picking up a 3-second time penalty. Will that come back to haunt him yet again? We'll have to wait and see as they make their way through turn number 2. Leclerc looks a little bit wide there. He is a little bit wide, and now teammate Marek is right in the slipstream. So the YouTube content creator going head-to-head with the Formula 1 driver yet again, and it looks like Ben, with the slipstream, with the DRS, is going to breeze by. But will Leclerc try this late lunge again? He will, or will he? No, he thinks about it and decides to back out. We've seen it so many times from Leclerc in the previous race. We saw Ben try it in the previous lap, but Ben holds the lead after making the move in the DRS straight, and he retakes the lead out of, and it looks like it's going to come back at him though.
Down the inside, and Leclerc is going side by side with Ben through that left-hander. He's familiar with that, doing it in the previous race with Bolabassi, but that was exquisite stuff there to come back. And so Leclerc leads Ben into the stadium section, and they're pushing each other so much here. They're going so wide, they're literally the fine limit on every one of these corners here. And all the while, also, I want to say, Tyrrell Limitless, he's on a different strategy here, I believe, but he's not too far behind. He might even join the fight just for the heck of it, Andy, here. So that could be a 3-way fight, 2 content creators versus an F1 driver.
Yeah, absolutely could be. I'd love to see some of that. I mean, 2 drivers in a battle is already exciting enough. 3, I don't even know what to expect as we look at teammate Marek then at the wheel of the Ferrari. We've already seen Charles Leclerc, his camera angle, when he was defending earlier on in the previous race against Shane Bolabassi. Now we are seeing Tiamat Marek then lining up Leclerc. Is he going to come straight back through then? Leclerc defends the middle of the road, gives the option then to Tiamat Marek. Are you going left or going right? He goes to the left, round the outside, and regains the lead. And I think it's just going to continue on like this until the final lap, where the kettle or the pot just reaches boiling point and things get really exciting. So Tiamat Marek back up through into the lead with Charles Leclerc second. Is he going to try something again? Yes, he is! Down the inside he goes, not quite able to find a way through, and Tiamat Marek holds on, but Leclerc trying absolutely everything here as Limitless continues to reel them in. Still Ben leading with Leclerc in second, Adam.
Leclerc is pushing the boundaries here on the F1 game, I tell you that. He's getting very punchy indeed. And here now, like I said, JD Terrell Limitless has joined the fight here. He's on a different strategy, but I'm sure he'll just join in just for the heck of it, just to get amongst it and get stuck in. So this might be a three-way fight soon enough. Ben holding his nerve, doing well. I'm sure he's sweating buckets though at this point, but as we now watch onto the man in second there on the bottom left, is he sweating buckets or is he keeping cool? He's now got a Williams behind him that will have DRS. So this well may become a three-way fight on this straight. Let's watch on. Is it going to be a decent exit for Leclerc? It's a decent one for Tyrrell Limitless as well behind the Williams car. So Leclerc's going to have to have two sets of eyes here to look behind, because the Williams car will go on the right-hand side and it might be three wide here as Leclerc goes on the left. It is three wide there. Leclerc on the outside. Tyrrell Limitless down the inside of both of them to take the race lead. Ben with a switchback move though. This is exquisite stuff. The two Ferraris now side by side. The Williams though out of nowhere into the lead. But now we've got Leclerc on the right-hand side, goes for the outside move. He's done that so many times tonight, and he's going to pull it off again, but JD gives him a good old fight on the outside. Ben now getting involved as well. You literally could throw a blanket all over them. It's amazing, Andy.
You really could. I mean, I think that's the fourth time now Leclerc's gone round the outside of someone there and made it work. He's tried the inside a couple of times, but far more successful round the outside. Great to see TRL Limitless getting involved in this and determined to really get involved in the action. Great to see as Leclerc now has the lead. Is that a decisive moment in this race? Is now Ben too far back from TRL Limitless? We're going to have to wait and see. Can Leclerc build the gap he needs as we start? I think it's lap 14 out of 17.
I think Ben will be rather annoyed, actually, I think, at Tyrrell Limitless. I think, obviously, I think he's on a different strategy, I'm pretty sure. So he doesn't need to get in the fight, but he is there. And so this is not something Ben needed in his fight versus Leclerc. And Leclerc already getting away a little bit. So let's see, though, with the DRS, maybe a double toe effect with Ben. And so they gain. The slipstream so powerful down this straight. Are they going to make the dive? Ben goes for it there. Leclerc sees it, pulls out, bit of contact made, wheel banging there. And the Ferraris again are swapping positions. And Ben once again finds himself in first place, but will Leclerc go for that classic move he's done so many times now down the inside? They're side by side, so close, front and right tire to the left hand side of the side pod there. Leclerc backs out, bit of oversteer, kicks in, and he's gonna have to settle down for second place, I think, unless he makes a wild move into the stadium section, which, you know what, I wouldn't put it past him now, the way how punchy he's been so far in this race, Andy.
Wow, absolutely incredible. Tiamat Marek is threatened it once, going for the late braking move into that hairpin. The second time he got it right to absolute perfection. Flew past TRL Limitless and then past Charles Leclerc to take the lead, and he now has the initiative as we start lap number 15 out of 17. TRL Limitless doing an incredible job to cling on these 13-lap old mediums. He'll be in the pits pretty soon, I would imagine, but this is what it's all about. These two drivers in the Ferrari battling together. Tiamat Marek with Charles Leclerc right behind him again. Yet another occasion. We're going to go side by side, I would think, down towards the braking zone for turn 6. It's Tiamat Marek in front with Leclerc behind, but he's going to have a good chance perhaps to pull alongside. And there he goes down the inside.
And there goes the Williams.
Oh, look at Limitless trying to get involved again. And who's ahead on the exit of the corner? It's Tiamat Marek who's ahead. But don't count that as it finished, because it's going to go all the way down through turn 7 and turn 8. Who's on the inside this time? It looks like it's Leclerc on the inside, and he's back through into the lead ahead of Tiamat Marek, with Limitless still clinging on in the background on those old medium tyres. Great stuff yet again. Leclerc now leads from Tiamat Marek second and Limitless third. Once again, it's a repeat of the previous race. It's deja vu. It looks like we're going to go right to the wire, Anava.
It is going to be chess, F1 chess all over again about who's second on the road going to that final lap. That really will be a big consideration, because the slipstream's so powerful down that back straight, especially with the DRS. It's pretty much... Oh, there's a mistake though. A mistake from the Ferrari man. Oh my God. And now they're all bunched up now, and Limitless also still sticking with them. So I don't know how the Williams driver, JD's doing this, but he's doing it nonetheless. And so these three, once again, I think there's going to be another 3 wide moment here, Andy, I think.
Yeah, I think there's every possibility it will be as they go down the straight yet again. Here comes TRL Limitless in the background. Is he going to get himself involved yet again in the squabble between the two Ferraris? Tiamat Marek in the slipstream moves to the outside this time. He's going to have to brake very late if he wants to get past Leclerc on the outside. We've seen that, and it proves again, but that's incredible from Tiamat Marek. He's made it work right round the outside and through. Look at TRL Limitless trying to get involved, and he does get involved. Is he through on Charles Leclerc? He's still in there battling. Leclerc trying the inside very late on the brake. He forces Ben out, and there's contact there between them. Unbelievable stuff. Leclerc is behind, I think. I'm trying to make it out. It's TRL Limitless that leads from
first place.
Leclerc. from Tiamat Marek.
Absolutely astounding. TRL Limitless, though. Well, what a shock here. He's putting on a real show for us.
Wow.
He's the spanner in the works we didn't know we wanted, but we needed here in this Grand Prix, because now these two guys have got to get past the Williams car as well as fighting each other. But the dive bombs here have been sensei. I honestly wouldn't put it past Charles studying some YouTubers' videos here, because these dive bombs have been nothing short but YouTuber dive bombs, and it's great to watch. And now they'll go again, close again. They're pretty much nose to tail, and they'll just sit back and make sure they get the DRS and the toe. And now the Williams, it's his turn to be a sitting duck down this straight, and I think it's going to be another 3 wide moment. As now you can see there, they're going side by side now, and it will be, I think, soon enough 3 wide either side of the Williams car. No, one goes to the outside, the other tries the inside there, and we've also got a bit of defensive drone from the Williams car. We've got a switchback move involved, bit of contact with the 2 Ferraris, then with the Williams car, and I think that's Leclerc into the lead of the GP. Once again goes very defensive now as we watch the aerial shot. Ben sends it down the inside there with his fellow content creator TRL Limitless, but the Williams driver keeps it in second place here. So this is just going on for ages now, and this is, I think, the final lap, Andy. We've already got to the final lap.
Yeah, we are on the final lap. Time flies, Adam, when you're having fun, and we certainly have had here in the commentary box. It has been an absolute cracker, but the 3 of them in a line all the way to the flag. We had 2 cars battling in the previous race. It was brilliant. We've had 3 in this one. Brilliant once again. Leclerc will come across the line to win on the road, but what about the time penalties? Let's have a look. It goes to TRL Limitless in the end with an incredible strategy on those medium tires. I can't make out how many laps he did on them, Arava. Can you see on your screen?
I can't quite see there, but I know it was a decent amount. I mean, fair play to TRL Limitless, because he wasn't in that fight initially. He was quite a few seconds back when the pit stops were made. He came in, and like I said, a dark horse, and he's taken it. He's taken the good. He's stolen what should have been a race win, I think, from one of those guys, Ben or Charles. JD will be very happy in the cockpit of his Williams car. And look at this. Shout out to WillNE.
Wow.
What a job for him. P6 in the Williams, doing the content creators proud there. What a drive.
Yeah, superb job from WillNE. It was great to see him as well, side by side with Charles Leclerc. But that was a great highlight as well, wasn't it? There were so many great moments in the actual races between the guys at the front. But, to see WillNE going for that move, cheeky stuff on Charles Leclerc, was also fantastic to see. But, I mean, I would ask you, for a highlight there, but there were so many. I mean, can you think what?
There's too many, Andy. There was way too many. There was, I think, what was it, 5 or 6 3-wide moments, some switchbacks here around the outside, dummies left and right, DRS trading. It had everything that an F1 game race can give you, and, well, we got really treated today. That first race was good enough. That second, something else. That 3-man battle, like I said, that Williams car coming in late, coming out of nowhere, really spiced up even more.
Yeah, absolutely epic racing out there. I'm now going to have to push you for a drive of the day in that second race, Adam.
It's got to be TRL Limitless for me. The fact that he just came in and swooped in and stole it from those two, that seemed like it was their spotlight to have. And then he's just come in and stolen like candy from a baby, really, because he did it on the last lap there. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, Hayden, we're out of breath in the commentary box. I don't know how you are watching it. I'm pretty sure you're feeling the same. Incredible.
That edge of my seat throughout the whole entire race. I said after the last race that is one of the best races I've ever seen. Scrap that. That is one of the best races I've ever seen. It was a 2-way battle in the first one. This time we had a 3-way battle by the end. Arav, I mean, I've given you a little time to have a breather there. You're probably going to need an hour after that incredible race. But if you can, talk us through that incredible freeway battle between Charles Leclerc, Ben, and Limitless.
Sensational stuff there. I mean, content creator versus F1 driver, that's good enough. Have two content creators versus Formula 1 driver. It was, you know, like almost like camaraderie almost at the Bahrain GP between myself and Ben. It was JD's turn today with Ben to go up against Leclerc, and this time, unfortunately for Ben, he'll be very peeved off. I know he's had that victory stolen, but JD, what a drive! But the amount of action, the confidence of all three of them, but especially the two content creators, Tim Marduk and Terrell Loomis, to just send it like that on a race-winning Formula 1 driver, it's just exquisite.
I think it's not just about the sends as well. It's the fact that it was so clean between them. There were a few little argy-bargy moments between them here and there, but throughout most of the race, there was minimal contact.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, there were so many points where he had a front right tyre so close to his side pod, you know, so close to making some contact there, but all the while kept it clean. No damage for either of them in that race, or Tyrrell Loomis as well. So great stuff. Even with all the switchback moves, you think, you know, some sort of front wing's going to get nicked, but all three of them, really great racing. Really great.
It was incredible racing, and you mentioned it right at the end there. An incredible drive from WillNE to get 6th place at the end of that race, just pipping as well Formula 1 driver Nicholas Latifi. Incredible stuff from him.
Yeah, Will's an F1 nerd at heart, so I think he'll be very happy, especially with his moment with Leclerc, sending it on him to re-overtake him. He'll be taking that one back to the grave. I think he'll be very, very happy with that race as a whole. He's done himself proud. He's done the content creators proud as a whole as well.
He really has. We've got a tweet come in. This one is from @HasImPecock. Total nerd stuff. Hashtag stay home, save lives. Hashtag not the GP. @BollockBassi and @Team Marduk. So there we go. Double setup. Watching not only the full race point of view, but also a few onboards from the drivers as well. So many different onboards that you could see from these races. Whilst that race was going on as well, again, I was looking through the donations and stuff like that. We had a big one come in. This was from Freddie Dread. £500 donated. So thank you very much, Freddie. That is incredible. And we are currently now on £9,325.60p, which is incredible. WillNE P6, what a time to be alive. This is coming from @Archie Domingo. And I mean, a lot of people just repping WillNE, which is incredible to see because you just wouldn't expect it. WillNE, when we say Charles Leclerc picked up the game a couple of weeks ago, Charles Leclerc is a Formula 1 driver. He has experience. When WillNE picked the game up a couple of weeks ago, he may have watched F1, but he hasn't driven before, has he?
Yeah, he's played the F1 games in the past, but maybe not as much as he has been in the last few weeks trying to train up for some of these races. And like I said, he's a big F1 nerd at heart, and so he'll be astounded with that. The fact, just the experience, but then the result itself, just that's a solid finishing result. The fact he didn't make a mistake then after probably, you know, I know for sure myself experiencing it, you know, some nerves going side by side with an F1 driver, but then holding your nerve, not making any mistakes and finishing.
Other people to notice as well, Jean-Éric Vergne, 4th position in the race. I mean, he did start on the front row, but to come down and still hold 4th position is incredible stuff.
Yeah, decent stuff for Jev. Obviously disappointing for him in race number 1, but showed, you know, that he does have genuine pace. They're obviously the Formula E champion 2 times, and you know, showing that he does have pace to mix it in with some of the kind of faster guys out there.
We are going to be jumping into a few interviews with a couple of the drivers who took part today. So who have we got on the line? Is there anybody here? There's no one here. Okay, there's no one here at the moment, but we are going to be jumping in to some interviews in a moment. So we're going to get some of your favourite drivers, content creators.
They just collected themselves. They're collecting themselves off that race, because I know I'm still collecting myself. My heart's still down there. It's, yeah, I mean, that was what to try and put that into words for someone who was involved in that race is insane.
We should have Benjamin Daly, Timo Marduk, and Charles Leclerc in here. Am I correct? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, let's talk about that incredible freeway battle. I mean, the two-way battle between the two of you throughout the whole race, which then turned into a freeway battle. But who was sweating the most during that?
What? Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry.
I was saying, who was sweating the most during that race between the two of you?
For the first race, I'm pretty sure I was sweating most because I had my sweater on. But for the second one, I put a t-shirt, so I might have sweat a lot less.
So you had a little bit of weight reduction for the second race, a little bit quicker.
Exactly.
Ben, how did that feel for you going up against a Formula 1 driver of Charles Leclerc and battling him so hard for a whole entire race?
I was in under my head. I had no idea what was going on. My heart was beating like maximum the whole race. And by the end there, like my feet were barely staying on the pedals because there was that much liquid down there. I mean, like, oh, you could throw a blanket over not only me and Charles, but JD as well in the mix. He was really making us sweat. But he just pipped us.
We noticed, Charles, you came through the grid pretty quickly in the reverse grid race. How exactly did you manage to get through so many drivers in such a short amount of time?
Well, I somehow always have good starts on the F1 game. I'm not doing anything special, but it seems to work anyway. So yeah, the first lap was very good. I wish I had this type of starts every time in reality. I don't. But yeah, it was cool. I broke my front wing, which was a bit of a mess for the rest of the race after that. But it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
So the front wing damage was the only reason that Ben could keep up with you. That's what you're saying.
No. Actually, I thought it would affect me a lot more, but the car felt good. So yeah, it didn't affect me that much.
I'm praying that reduced damage means no difference at all.
Were you all fine on the front end then, Ben, throughout the race?
Yeah, I was absolutely fine. I had, literally the race of my life. The first lap and a half, I actually had a bad start. I was down in last, but then I found myself in P2 at the halfway stage of lap 2. I was like, what planet am I on? I was just, and then Charles. Sorry.
What lap did you pit?
I pitted lap 5. I was worried that Charles was gonna undercut me, so I was like, I'll do it.
So I pitted lap 1 and I had an amazing start. Pitted lap 1, but then he still came out ahead of me.
Yeah, I saw you stopped early. I thought you had damage or something. I was really confused.
No, I just wanted to just try and clear traffic. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, we're gonna have to.
Silly though. You put yourself back in traffic.
We're going to have to wrap up this conversation. Thank you very much, guys, for providing us with such great racing between the three of you. It was such a joy to watch. I want to thank you, Arav, as well for being a great pundit alongside me, and Ginger Andy for doing a fantastic job in the commentary box. Arav, sum up that race for me in a few words.
Absolutely unreal. Just biblical scenes. That's what that was. That was the F1 game. That's what it can give you. You know, great racing. The slipstream powerful enough where you can get this side-by-side action. And then you've got these three drivers that just love putting on a show, apparently, because that's what we got, a show.
Thank you, everyone who has been watching at home, and to those who have been donating throughout the evening. We will see you next time when Not the GP heads to Spain. Good night.